Okay, first time I've been called on when my hand wasn't actually up in that moment. So really looking forward to hearing my question.
Now you had to tell them that. All these hands up.
How unfair, right? More and more creative ways to get called on, I guess. Okay, when you were talking about Esther talking on the phone to her friend, I guess he wasn't so much debating whether to listen, but it sort of struck me that I've noticed points of those in my life where sort of the reality is coming in and it's sort of going in the direction you don't want to go. And I know myself and people I've listened to in the past have sort of taken an attitude of, oh, the stove is hot, run away, go and hide, as opposed to, let's see what the stove is about, maybe we can turn it down, and that sort of thing. And so kind of your party line over the years has been, never face reality unless it feels good. And what I've been noticing sometimes is if I can get into the reality that I don't like and then from that standpoint shift it into what I do like, it seems as if I can be much better off than if I just, say, stay in the happy place and sort of avoid or ignore.
Think about when we say never face reality unless you really like it.
Yeah.
And then you think in terms of being on your way to San Diego, so you're facing the direction of that which you are wanting. And as you're facing what you're wanting, you're moving toward it. And so what we've been saying all of this time is, do not face or give your attention to any reality that you do not want to continue to recreate in your experience. Yes.
Well, I was sort of wondering if the other half may not also be better at times where you just sort of maybe let that reality fall by the wayside.
Well, here's the thing. You are a good person and have been good, coming from source of good eternally. And you came forth into this physical time-space reality intending to experience and express the goodness that you are. But along your physical trail, through your observing of things and influence from others and your own trial and error, you and everybody else has picked up habits of resistance that are muting the potential goodness. And we just can't say it any clearer. Releasing that resistance takes you to the goodness. It's just that simple. So our work is always to guide you from wherever you are to a lesser resistant vibration. But because we are always not only talking to you but to everyone else in the room, we are always pointing toward giving your attention toward what you want. If you could develop habits of only speaking about what you want and only appreciating, you would live glorious life experiences. And if we were talking to any of you on the first day of your experience, that is the only information that you would receive from us. We would not be counseling the babies. Don't worry about things. They're not worrying about things. They haven't learned how to worry about things. We'd be talking to them about giving their attention to what they are wanting. We'd be talking to them about expecting only good things to come to them. We would be talking to them about how what happens to them doesn't have anything to do with what's happening to anybody else. So now we're wanting you as teachers and you as individual creators of your own experience to embrace your emotions and stop calling them right or wrong. In other words, it's like there's good and there's bad and there's positive emotion and there's negative emotion, and I should not be feeling this negative emotion. And we want you to say, any more than you wouldn't say, I should not be feeling this hot stove. We want you to say, it's good that I feel this hot stove. It's good that I feel these emotions, and I have the ability to focus in order to change the way I feel.
So, okay, one of the questions I think I had as I came up that I think you just answered was in terms of the 17 seconds and people worrying about, oh, what if I spend 17 seconds talking to this person on the phone, is that the anticipation of I'm going to keep my focus where I want it to be even as this person's talking, it's not really 17 seconds of negative emotion because I'm already focused on my power to, even if I'm listening.
Let's not make this too complicated, but let's talk about the situation that you're talking about. So here Esther is. She's bipping along, having a mostly wonderful life experience in her usual place of overwhelmment. But not unhappy as she's moving toward accomplishing some things. And her desire for this new book is much stronger than her feeling of overwhelmment about the creation of it. And so her vibration is in a fairly good place. And then in her getting her taxes ready and in her preparing to interact with her accountant, she learns that her accountant is sick. And so Esther has the normal stove-touching sensation of, the shock of hearing something that she really does not want to hear. So most people think, now Esther's mission is to find a way to help her friend. And what we are saying to Esther, her mission is to find a way to feel good in spite of the information that she's received about her friend. So now Esther can go about this in two different ways. She can focus specifically on things that feel good to her and not think about her friend. Or she can focus upon her friend, as this time of year always causes her to focus upon her friend, and she can specifically sift through that subject and feel better. But her work is not about helping her friend. Her work is about maintaining her feeling of relief. So it's sort of like if you were traveling from one place to another. It's never clear sailing. In other words, there are always corners to make, and there are always some streets that are blocked, and there are always some traffic jams, there are always some traffic accidents. In other words, there's all kinds of things that you're going to encounter along your journey. And you're just, from where you are, making the best possible decision from where you are right now. You'd never try to calculate everything that you're going to be doing as you travel from one place to another. Instead, you have confidence that you can use your eyes and you can use your ears and you can use your nose, you use all of your senses, and you make your way rather efficiently, enjoying all of the weird things that happen along the way. You don't try to figure it all out in advance. And that's the way we want you to feel about your guidance. We don't want Esther to dread, as she thinks into the future, of worrisome thoughts about her friend. And we don't want her to regret any thoughts that she's thought in the past. Instead, we want her to just stand where she is, fresh unto the universe and to her future, and say, I have guidance that lets me know which direction I'm facing, and so what if I face in the wrong direction for a while? Pretty soon I'm going to figure it out, and at whatever point I figure it out, I can make a new decision. It's impossible for you to get lost, you see. We just want you to all lighten up about your emotions, and when you feel negative emotion, so what? It's guidance that lets you know that you're not doing the best thing that you could do, and that there is a thought that will give you a little bit of relief. So what we're trying to do is put the humanness back in this emotional spectrum. Instead of saying good emotion and bad emotion, we want you to say all right emotion and better still. All right emotion and better still. All right emotion and better still. I'm doing all right and it's getting better still. I'm doing all right and it's getting better still. We want you to try to find ways of giving yourself the relief of reaching for a better feeling emotion. There are many who have said it in many different ways, and we have been among them, although it's almost too pat and feels almost too trite when we say what's at the core of most of your struggle is a worthiness issue. Most of you just don't feel blessed enough or good enough to let the dramatic good in that you deserve to have in, because you've got all these lists of things that so many people have taught you about. Well, that thought is not an appropriate thought, and that action is not an appropriate action, and there are these commandments and these edicts and these laws and these rules, and here you are as physical beings being buffeted about by all of these opinions by people who are mostly dead. In other words, most of the influence that you are fretting over doesn't even have anything to do with your time-space reality. And in the process, you have set aside your own guidance, which is simply and purely leading you to the best possible outcomes for yourself on all subjects. And so the antics that we offer and the eternal rhetoric that flows forth in these seminars is about little by little trying to convince you that it's all right for you to be where you are, but that if you have a preference to be someplace else, all you got to do is face the direction of what you are wanting and feel the improvement as you are moving closer to it. We don't want to trivialize it by saying it is so easy, but when you understand your emotions, it is easy. When you show yourself that you can find relief from depression in that life-giving anger, and you consciously say, I feel better. I deliberately chose this angry thought, and I feel better. Now there's no place you can't go. Now you're free. Now you are re-empowered. But when you say, I feel this way and I can't control the way I feel this way because this has happened to my friend and I can't help my friend get well. My friend is where my friend is and I care too much about my friend. Oh, I wish I didn't know this friend. I wish that I didn't love this person that's suffering. But I love this person that's suffering and they can't fix it, and so I am doomed to this negative emotion. And that's what you're all sort of tensed against. You're so afraid that something's going to happen that's going to make you feel bad that you can't control. And you know why we know that? We know that because we know your most innate inclination is to feel good. We know that every fiber of your being knows that you're supposed to feel good. And we have witnessed the rebellions that go on within you from the littlest to the biggest, from the youngest to the oldest among you, when there is something that feels out of control to you that makes you feel bad. That's what the world tenses against. That's what your fear of terrorism is. Those people might do something that might make me feel bad. They might do something to someone I love, or they might disrupt my economics. They might do something. I can't control them. I don't understand their motivation. And they might do something that might have negative impact on me. And we say, as long as you feel that way, they have already done it. And they didn't just start doing it. Everybody's been sort of doing it to everybody around here. As you say, I feel this way and I can't do anything about it. And it's really time that you start saying, I feel this way and I can do something about it, but the clincher is I can't do it all at once. But I can feel a little better, and 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 I can feel a little better, until little by little by little by little by little, you restore yourself to that blessed, worthy, selfish, loving being that you really are. I'm a good person is what is screaming from inside of you. I'm good. And even though I broke your rule and I broke your rule and I'm going to break your rule, even though I'm breaking all of these rules, your opinion has to be irrelevant to me. The only opinion that matters is the opinion that I feel between my vibrational frequencies. And when I line up with my source, I'm liquid love. When I line up with my source, I radiate clarity. I radiate confidence. I radiate health and wealth and well-being. It emanates from me. And anyone who I interact with benefits by the interaction, no matter how long or short it is. I get hooked up with this energy, and then I uplift anyone who comes anywhere near me. I just waft well-being everywhere I go, you see. That's who you are.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.